In this video, I'll be showing you guys how to make custom Walking Dead NPCs in UEFN. So let's get started. A quick disclaimer before we start this video is that you can't actually post these maps until the 16th, I believe, of May. So, we have some time to get our maps done and basically perfect it until then. But yeah, let's just get started. So we're gonna need a couple of things for this to work. The first thing is we're going to need a NPC character definition. Okay, so you want to just make one of these. Come here, artificial intelligence, NPC character definition. I'm gonna call this walkers or NPC underscore walker, and then I'm gonna make two of these. So for the first one, I'm gonna make it the normal one, so this one, um, and then you can add. So these are basically just the modifiers for them. You can add as many as you want here. For example, they have the health, the gameplay. You could also do the UI, right? So let's set them up real quick. I think most of them are pretty good on default. So I'm just gonna leave this at default for the health. And then let's see here. So for the walking gameplay, you could the walker NPCs have a special attack ability, which basically is like a bite, right? Like in The Walking Dead, where you die slowly. Okay, I guess in The Walking Dead you turn into a zombie, right? But here you die slowly, or now it's not really slow, right? You can set it up if you want to, like, if you want to take like 100 damage a second or something like that. But after you've been bitten, you can take damage. You can do this if you want. I'm gonna leave it as is. I don't think it's needed. But I'm going to increase the damage just because I'm lowering this. And then we don't really care about this because either way, I mean, we don't have any bite damage, but you can turn this on if you want to. Basically, if you still have the bitten effect after you're down but not out, right? You can also skip the spawning animation, but I think it's pretty cool. We'll showcase it in a second. And then wait time before wandering. This is the minimum and the maximum. I'm gonna leave these on the default. I think they're good enough for the tutorial. And then I'm not gonna have any display names or anything like that. I'm going to show the health bar, and that's gonna be it. Now I'm gonna make, like I said, a second one. So I'm going to just duplicate this one and then call it Walker Prisoner. And then just go into here, and I'm just going to change this to prisoner uniform, and then everything should be the same. Yeah, it seems to be. Yeah, I'm just gonna click. Also, if you want, you can have verse behaviors, but for the sake of the tutorial, I'm just going to leave it at default. I think they're pretty good, so yeah, you can just go with that. Okay, so now that we have this done, we'll need to add some devices. So some NPC spawner devices. So just type in NPC, and then this one, the NPC spawner. I'm gonna go over here because there's a bigger area in the prison. So I'm just gonna drag it in. And then you wanna come into here, and then this is your settings, I guess, for the device. So, oops, let me do that. So what you can do here is have the spawn count. So I think this is how many at any time. So if I have it at 1, there's gonna be only 1 active. So for that to be another one, this one needs to die, right? This is a pretty big area, so I'm gonna put it as, we can put it as like maybe 5. Let's make a bit of a horde or something like that. I'm not gonna allow them to spawn through walls. Enable the game start. I'm gonna leave that on. And then you can have script overrides, like I said. We don't have that, so I'm not gonna do it. I am going to, however, make this a normal walker, so not the prisoner. We are in a prison, but I'm thinking we can probably put the prisoners in the cells, and then the normal ones will just be, I guess, wandering around, right? By the way, it doesn't matter how you position this. You can flip it however you want. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So moving on, allow infinite spawn. I'm gonna let this be ticked, but you can set it as a maximum of however you want, right? Which is pretty cool. I'll turn it back to 1. And then on a timer, I guess the spawn timer could be, I don't know. Let's put it up a little bit higher because there's gonna be 5 and they're gonna be infinite. So maybe like 5 seconds. And then the spawn radius, I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. So I think like that is fine. Obviously they can't spawn through walls, so I could make this as big as I want. They're not gonna go through, but I think this is fine. Just gonna do 6 to round it up. Use device spawn location. Yeah, I think generally you wanna have this. And then if you want, you can actually despawn the AI by using this, the disabled command, or just this. To be honest, I don't know why you would need this. I don't see a point. I think maybe if you're using the despawn function, yeah, it's a good idea. But if you want to leave them wandering even after you despawn the device, you can, you can just not take this. But if you do, just take this up, and you should be good. Um, Now, there's a lot of functions that you could do. We're not gonna be using any of them in this tutorial, but it's honestly pretty simple. Obviously, enable disable is on every UEFN device that you have, or creative device for that. Every device in Fortnite in general. The spawn is just so you could, if you want to make a custom verse device, you can basically just call this to make some sort of like custom, I guess, wave of zombies, right? The despawn, honestly, self-explanatory, right? And then you can reset the total spawn count. So then you can reset this number, where is it? Like this one, I think, right here. So you can reset the spawn limit. And then, you have some events that you could listen to. But I think it's time we actually check it out in game. So I guess I'll see you there. So I just spawned in. Let's check if it works. Works pretty good. As you can see, they're spawning through the floor as well, which is playing a pretty cool animation. See that? And then they dissolve as you kill them. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Oh yeah. Now obviously you can remove this bar if you don't like it for the UI and all of that. But yeah. I also have some other things on this map, which are, obviously the money up here and up here. If you guys want to know how to make that, just comment down below, like, subscribe, all that shit, and I'll just make a tutorial about it. But I also noticed that if you hit them in the body, basically does nothing. You have to go for headshots, which is pretty cool. I'm sure you could modify that in the settings. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, like I said, like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.